Hello, what's going on, guys? This is Crystal, and welcome back to Love and Deepspace. Here we are going to start by, reading the first, we're gonna read this, right? We're gonna read all of the World Underneath stories, and I'm gonna make a little, video series of this, right? So, someone knocks. Okay, the one left. Oh, we're gonna start chapter 1. The one left. Someone knocks. Zayne opens the office door to find William's girlfriend, Sienna, standing outside. She manages a pale smile and holds up a box. "This is for you, Zayne." A Mateer's badge sits inside it. It's very conspicuous on the velvet cushioning. It reminds Zayne of the spilled blood that night at Mount Eternal is silent for a moment before he steps aside to let her in. "I've been thinking, but I just can't accept it," Sienna says as she sits across from him. She cradles a cup of hot water in her hands. William was always so busy after he joined the EVOL Special Rescue Unit, but he would always come home after he was done with work. Now, her hand clutches around the cup as her lips tremble uncontrollably. "If I don't see this badge, I can tell myself that he's still at work, and just hasn't come home yet." Wiping away her tears, Sienna puts down the cup, gently pushing the box towards Zayne. "Keeping this with me will only serve as a constant reminder that my William will never return. I can't take it anymore." No! No! Zayne had to kill William! This is sad! No! Oh my gosh. Zayne's expression becomes more solemn. After a while, he nods, opens the drawer closest to him, and puts the box inside. Sienna bows and says thank you. As she prepares to leave, she glances at the swaying tree branches outside. "William told me that you and Dr. Noah would return to the university together every year during first-year admissions. He was always too busy to go. Zayne, if you see Dr. Noah this year, please tell him William said hi." Oh gosh. Review. On the first day of school, Dr. Noah is already waiting at the entrance to Skyhaven University. The soon-to-be retired professor stands as straight as a pine tree. "Good morning, Dr. Noah." At Zayne's greeting, Dr. Noah smiles. He turns and pats Zayne's shoulder. "Well, it's just the two of us this year. Will was too busy, and now you are too. I wonder who'll come with me next year." His expression changes as he sighs. "That boy Carter. Never mind." "Oh, Carter! Fuck you, Carter! Fuck you!" "William sends his regards," Zayne says. "I'll accompany you every year from now on." That's nice to hear, but nothing is more important than the patients," Dr. Noah says. The two of them enter Skyhaven University and head to the auditorium. Many students are going the same way. Still wearing the innocent excitement of being newly admitted, their steps are lighter and faster than Dr. Noah's and Zayne's. Soon enough, they get ahead of the crowd and disappear. The two push open the main door of the auditorium and to find several seniors setting up the venue. A banner reading 47th First-Year Medical Student Oath Ceremony hangs above the stage. Seeing Dr. Noah and Zayne approaching, a smiling young man with a staff badge around his neck jumps down from the ladder, runs towards them, and bows. "Hello, Dr. Noah. I'm new. I heard from my seniors that you'll be here for the oath." I'm here to reminisce, Dr. Noah replies, then turns to Zayne. "This is your senior, Zayne." The young man looks surprised. "You're the legendary 35th academic god that we all pray to before exams, and now I get to finally see you in person. Many of us look up to you as a role model, me included. Can I take a picture with you later?" Zayne is a celebrity in the medical field. Zayne is taken aback by the request, but eventually nods. As they talk, soft but solemn music begins to play in the auditorium. A large number of first years enter the hall in an orderly manner, standing and waiting for the ceremony to begin. The young man bows to them again and goes back to the stage to adjust the microphone. Dr. Noah takes a step back, making way for a few students to pass by. "I will have the utmost reverence for human life, maintain a sense of duty and dignity in practicing medicine to adhere to good medical standards." The oath begins. The newly admitted medical students look on with determination. Their eyes sparkle under the morning light. Dr. Noah and Zayne. Dr. Noah looks at Zayne, recalling how many years ago he watched this man participate in the same ceremony. As the first-year student, Zayne was younger than everyone else. His presence alone made him stand out. When he raised his hand to take the oath, his composed and steady demeanor made Dr. Noah wonder how far this young man could go in the field of medicine. The oath ceremony ends. The students imbued with the responsibility and honor of taking their oath leave one by one. Dr. Noah leads Zayne to the cafeteria through the excited crowd. William and Carter were like this too. Ah! Why? Why? Oh my gosh. Dr. Noah can't help but get caught up in the moment. He shakes his head and changes the topic. Never mind. I heard the cafeteria has sweet and sour ribs today. Do you want to grab a bite? Zayne smiles. Alright, Zayne loves sweets, okay? He loves anything that is sweet, and if it's sweet and sour ribs, if it has the word sweet in it, he's taking it. Near the end of the cafeteria is the towering research building. 3 students wipe their mouths, run past them, and mutter about the bacteria being dead. Startled sparrows fly over their heads from the treetops. Dr. Noah looks at the building, lost in thought. Zayne, have you heard of the rumor? The ghost in the office? Zayne frowns, a little exasperated. These kinds of unscientific rumors are everywhere in the School of Medicine. Indeed, Dr. Noah says. His gaze lingers on Zayne for a moment before he chuckles. I wonder who started it. It was probably in the year 2040 when the main cafeteria of the university had just been renovated. So this is like in 2045 somewhere? I don't know. I don't remember which year is this. I might have to check again in the introduction of the game. Dr. Noah got his soup and chose a place to sit. His phone vibrated twice. It was a message from the dean of the medical school. I read the report Zayne submitted. The theoretical model is quite good. A lot of students have tried to explore the uses of protocores before, but their ideas were limited by the methods. They couldn't fully understand it either. I can't say for sure that Zayne will make progress, but his report makes me feel this approach is worth trying. Then there was another message. Your student has great ideas and seemed to be quite bold. Dr. Noah didn't hide his pride. Of course he's good. I chose him. He put his phone on the table, intending to finish reading a paper he had started the day before. But the noise from the neighboring table got his attention. A security guard was sitting with 3 serious cafeteria ladies, all holding spoons. The guard, also solemn, waved his hand and began to talk. I'm telling you, there's something fishy going on in the research lab in the medical school. Really? I see the kids from the lab come to eat every day. They seem fine. The problem is in the research lab. The security guard knocked on the table, speaking with an air of mystery. I'm telling you, when I went on patrol on Monday, what happened? You know, a lot of people stay late in the research labs there. It's not a big deal. I just remind them to lock the doors when they leave. But on Monday, I saw everyone leave when I was locking up. I heard what? I heard this swishing sound. It scared me half to death. I couldn't even figure out what it was. Are you sure it was just scare yourself? Are you sure you didn't just scare yourself? There must have been a student still in the lab. I thought so too, but I checked again. So I checked again, but there was no one there. Really? Yes, really. I looked everywhere, and I couldn't see anyone. I was about to turn off the lights and then leave. Then I thought I heard a voice. But you said there wasn't anyone. That's what I said. That's totally abnormal. You guys have no idea just how many skeletons are in the research lab. What if one of them came back to life? Oh, stop saying nonsense. The cafeteria lady stood up with furrowed brows and returned to their stations. Losing his audience, the security guard appeared to leave. He turned around to see Dr. Noah looking at him. Dr. Noah, I said what I said, but don't think there's anything wrong with the medical school. I don't think there's anything wrong with the medical school. He smiles. Dr. Noah waved his hand, signaling the guard not to worry. At the front of the cafeteria, Zayne has gotten his meal and was trying to find a place to sit down. Seeing him, Dr. Noah beckoned Zayne to come sit next to him. Dr. Noah, we can proceed with the next experiment tomorrow, Zayne said. Those were the first words out of his mouth after taking a seat. Stick to your plan. Dr. Noah didn't ask for more details. He had been closely following this project. He knew Zayne never slacked off for even a second and had double-checked, triple-checked the data. He understood the importance of the importance of this project to Zayne and trusted that he had it under control. As he ate, Dr. Noah remembered something. Tuesday morning, did you miss the exam? Zayne's hand paused for a moment. A hint of embarrassment flickered in his eyes. I'm sorry. If you didn't take it, you won't get a score. The med school won't give you a special treatment just because you're you. I know, it's my fault for missing the exam. I don't deserve to have a score. Zayne, Dr. Noah said, looking at the faint dark circles around his student's eyes. I know you're taking this project very seriously, and you're committed to your studies, but don't wear yourself out. After a moment of silence, Zayne puts down his chopsticks and said softly, Dr. Noah, I'm not tired. I just want to move on to my clinical rotations as soon as possible. Dr. Noah nodded. He understood, yet couldn't help but sigh. This child was too mature for his age and carried too much on his shoulders. He wanted to say something to comfort Zayne, but in the end, he said nothing. Thursday night, Dr. Noah stepped out of the research lab. He greeted the patrolling security guard and was about to leave when he saw the lights were still on in his office. It then occurred to him that a few days ago, he had given the keys to Zayne, allowing him to access the research reports he had completed several years ago at any time. Through the class, he scanned the room for a moment before spotting Zayne. Zayne was sitting behind a human model, reading a paper. The security guard didn't see him, so he turned off the lights and locked the door. Zayne looked up in the darkness. It took him only a few seconds to accept his situation. Then he shook his head, holding the book. He walked to the switch and turned the light back on. In the corridor, the security guard, startled to see the light is on behind him, shivered as he turned around, mustered his courage. He headed back towards the office. Noah sighed and made a detour back to the office, taking Zayne, who was still reading, out of the office. Walking with Zayne to the entrance of the research lab, Noah thought back to the first time he saw him at the oath ceremony. He had mentored many students. Among them were many who were as hardworking as Zayne. They all got into medical school because of their dreams. Looking at Zayne, he remembered a rumor he heard. I heard your parents are also doctors. You choose the medical field to follow in their footsteps, right? Zayne smiled. Yes, even in the bedtime stories they told me during my childhood were about the hospital. Most of the things at home that I could use to kill time were medical textbooks, too. So I was influenced by them. Is there another reason? No. That was too quick of a response. Besides, the way you're obsessing over this doesn't seem like there's only one reason. Oh, Zayne was quiet for a long time, the sound of his footsteps carried away by the wind. Just when Dr. Noah thought Zayne wouldn't answer him, he spoke up. It's also because of someone. Dr. Noah kind of expected that. He stopped walking and turned to look at a student, who rarely opened up about his feelings. He saw Zayne standing alone in the first snowfall of that winter. I don't want to be incapable of doing anything again when I become a threat to her. I don't want to be incapable of doing anything again when I become a threat to her. Oh my gosh, it's so sad! Fuck! Zayne! Oh my god. Oh, oh my god. A few days later, Dr. Noah received a call from the dean of the medical school. He sounded displeased. He massaged his temples as he went to the dean's office. As soon as he opened the door, he heard a quiet voice ask, Why did you destroy our part of the experimental data, Zayne? Zayne stood in the middle of the room, silent and expressionless. Sure, it doesn't affect others, but it could have helped this project achieve its purpose faster. The dean stepped closer to Zayne. His fingers tapped on the desk. There was more frustration and anger in his voice, the kind that came from a fellow researcher. I remember you worked hard in the lab for weeks. Did you think about how erasing our data means all of your efforts have gone to waste? I know it wasn't an accident. Explain yourself. Behind Zayne, his senior and lab mate, Carter, started to speak. As long as we Quiet, boy. Dr. Noah pushed Carter behind him. I'll handle this. Let the students go first. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Dr. Noah. Zayne walked over to the flower bed and sat down next to Dr. Noah. He chuckled at Zayne's thanks. I told the dean about you wanting to leave the group too. If you really want to thank me, write fewer negative comments about me in your dissertation acknowledgments. You're very brave, Zayne. Worried that the dean's words might affect him, Dr. Noah added, not everyone is willing to abandon research they've put so much effort into. Dr. Noah, this project is about the application of protocore energy in interventional cardiology procedures. But during the experiment, Zayne closed his eyes and shook his head. He took out the only remaining image of his data and handed it to Dr. Noah. The picture was a heart that was mostly covered in black crystals. To be more precise, it looked like a human heart beating and growing out of black crystals. Dr. Noah's thoughts returned to the autumn of 2047. The students, having just attended the first-year oath ceremony, finished their meals and are about to attend their first class at Skyhaven University's School of Medicine. He and Zayne have also finished eating and are taking their trays back. Still savoring his meal, Dr. Noah walks out of the cafeteria with Zayne. The sweet and sour ribs this year aren't great, but no matter how bad the food is, I always want to eat here when I come back. Once I retire, I'll leave Lincoln City. At the front gate, Dr. Noah turns around and pats Zayne's arm. When you're free, I'll take you to a restaurant near my home. The food there is delicious. As soon as he finishes speaking, his phone rings. Glancing at the caller ID, he sighs. And that's why doctors should never say they're free. Then, with a serious expression, he starts walking away to answer the call. Dr. Noah, I'll drive you back to the hospital. After the call ends, Zayne walks with him to the parking lot. As they pass the flower bed outside the research lab, Dr. Noah remembers something important. Have you visited her? Zayne pauses, then he says, not yet. Are you afraid? No. He shakes his head, his voice steady. Dr. Noah gets out of the car in front of Axel Hospital. He watches as Zayne drives away. When he disappears into the traffic, the elderly doctor slowly turns around. For some reason, that kid always feels surreal. It feels as though, despite standing in the crowd, he would never be a part of it. He remembers that night when a single light glowed in the campsite during a blizzard in the Arctic. He remembered the lonely figure leaving in the cold wind the next day when the experiment's data were destroyed. Perhaps the path the young man walks has only heavy snow and level ground. He's destined to walk alone. As his teacher, Dr. Noah can only hope that one day a fork in the road will appear before the young man, offering him a tranquil respite. Wow.